Oh, hi, hello there. Thanks for tuning in. So my name's Kat. I'm a member of the Naturehood team here in Oxford. So I'm streaming now live from Penhill Naturehood, where we have one of our Naturehoods. And that's done through the powers of technology because I actually am physically here in my garden on a beautiful sunny day here in North Oxford. So firstly, I'd like to say a huge hello to everybody joining us from Penhill. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever we are at this point of the day. And huge hello to everybody joining us from Oxford, and indeed wherever you are across the country. Welcome to this Facebook Live series. So I'm going to give you a little overview of what the live series is all about. For those of you new to Naturehood, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Naturehood and what we're trying to do. And then I'm going to go on to talk a little bit about my garden, introduce you to the space I have here, specifically thinking about gardening for butterflies, or indeed caterpillars, as has been the case for me this weekend. So firstly, the live series is a stream that we're doing every week on Wednesdays at 12. It started a few weeks ago, and we've had videos from different members of the team, all with different skills, different expertise. Some of them are expert ecologists, and some of them are more novice level, by which I mean myself. I'm novice level when it comes to wildlife gardening. But you're going to be able to hear from all of us over the next few weeks as well. No worries if you miss this live stream or you come late to the live stream. You're also going to be able to view these videos on our YouTube channel as well as on the Facebook Naturehood pages too. Fab. So a little bit about Naturehood then, if you're new to Naturehood. Naturehood is a community wildlife project, and it's all about thinking about how do we make the most of what outdoor space we have to make it as friendly and accessible to wildlife as possible. And that's thinking, if you've got a patio or a window box or even a hanging basket, as well as a garden, there's always something that we can do with those spaces to make them into feeding habitat or breeding habitat or indeed any habitat for all sorts of different garden wildlife species that we see here in the UK. And why are we doing this? Well, as many of you will know, UK wildlife has suffered huge declines since the 1970s, or for many years in fact, huge declines. And we're looking at what we can do in our spaces to try to reverse those declines and do what we can to support wildlife in our local areas. So if you are new to Naturehood, you can sign up today. It's all the resources are free, and they give you tips and advice on what kind of actions you can take in your garden. These are pretty simple actions as well, a lot of the times, from just making little piles of leaves in the autumn, or advice on what to plant for pollinators and such like that. And so you can sign up on www.naturehood.com and start taking action for wildlife today. And as well as thinking action in our gardens as individuals, we also encourage people to share and talk to their neighbours and their communities, because when gardens and habitat are connected, they're just that much more resilient for wildlife, and there's much more opportunity for, say, one butterfly or bee to pop from one set of flowers to another and another without having to go too far. One of the challenges that UK wildlife faces is that fragmentation of habitat, which is split, which just makes it more challenging for them. So the community aspect is really key in Naturehood. And one other ask in Naturehood is around telling us what's in your garden. What do you actually have? What's living there? What's thriving there? We've got a number of surveys that you can take to let us know, to let our researchers know, because currently we don't have an awful lot of data in the private garden spaces. So it's really important to understand the baseline that we're at in UK gardens, to understand if these interventions are doing what we need it to do to support UK wildlife. So, like I say, that's a bit about Naturehood. And so onto our topic of the day with our live stream. So I will say, first of all, this is my first ever live stream. So please be kind in the comments. I'll do my best. But if you do have any questions for me, please do put them in the comment there. I might not be able to answer in real time, but I know members of the team are tuning in and they might be able to help, or I'll be able to get back to you at the end of the stream as well. So firstly, let me introduce you to my garden then. So I've chosen this specific patch, and I'm going to tell you why in a moment. Hopefully you can see this. Got some lovely, and bear in mind I'm not an expert here, but just some lovely blue flowers there. All sorts of things. Let's come over here, if you can get a good look. So all sorts of things going on in this patch of the garden. It's quite crowded. There we go, some bluebells there. Now as I say, I'm not wildlife gardening, and when I thought about doing this, this video about gardening for butterflies, my first thought was maybe I'd go to the garden centre and get some plants for pollinators, but obviously that's a little bit more difficult than it used to be. So it made me think, okay, what might I already have in my garden, what might I already have in my space that could already be doing things to support butterflies that I didn't realise. And the first place I started with that was around what do I actually, how do I know what's in my garden? So this is a new property for me. It's a rental. I didn't plant any of these plants here, so I had no idea what they were. But I did use the Seek app by iNaturalist, which I highly, highly recommend. It's really, really easy to use. Once you've downloaded it, you can simply just sort of hover the camera over the top of the species, and it's going to tell you what you've got in your garden. So that was my weekend. I was going around mapping different things, and I was really surprised to see the sorts of things that I've actually got. Not because necessarily they're specifically great for butterflies, but because they're actually really useful food sources in this particular patch that are good for the caterpillars. And that makes me think that's one of the things it's kind of easy to forget when you think about attracting butterflies to your garden. We're thinking about adult butterflies being attracted by the flowers, but actually, butterflies undergo, no less than 3 transformations in their lifetime, from sort of egg to caterpillar, caterpillar to chrysalis, and then chrysalis to the butterfly. So what are we doing to support the caterpillars is kind of where I came to. And so I'm going to show you some of the things that I found in my garden. And I'm also going to ask you some questions as well. If there's anybody particularly good at plant ID, you could tell me some of the things that the Seek app wasn't able to tell me what they were. So first up is, so this one here is some garlic mustard. I don't know why it's called garlic mustard, because it doesn't smell neither like garlic nor like mustard. But nonetheless, that's what it is. And it turns out that's actually really great sort of caterpillar food for, there we go. Caterpillar food for the green-veined streak. Lord, I think I've forgotten the name of it. That's not great. The white-veined streak, the green-veined white streak. If anybody knows which butterfly I'm thinking of, please write that in the comments below. That would be very helpful. But that's also, so the green-veined white streak is a common species that you might find in your garden. Is it a common garden species? And so other species you might want to look out for in your garden over the spring and summer months is firstly the small tortoiseshell butterfly, which is which is our species of the week, in fact. So you can learn a little bit more about that by looking at our posts on Facebook and on Twitter. So that one's commonly found in the garden. It's sort of a beautiful orange colour with kind of zebra, almost like zebra stripes. I believe it's according to the big butterfly count, it is the 8th most spotted butterfly in the UK. So chances are you probably have seen it, but if you're not sure, on our website, on the Naturehood website, we've got a spotter's guide that can sort of guide you and let you know whether or not you can see whether or not you think you've seen one or not. Other species you might find in your garden over the spring and the summer is the red admiral, the peacock, the comma, and in some cases the holly blue. And so the holly blue was a butterfly that was new to me during my research for this, and I came about because I realised I have some ivy. Well, it was hard not to notice. There's a lot of ivy in this garden, but it turns out that the holly blue butterfly feeds on holly flowers in the spring, but it feeds on ivy flowers in the autumn. So hopefully we can do something for the caterpillars there with that one too. Let me show you some other bits and pieces that I've got also for butterflies here. But before I do, I was just going to mention, just give you a few stats, the roundup on butterflies and why it's one of our focus species for the week, but also for the Naturehood programme as well. So butterflies, they have suffered huge losses as well, 73% decline in their numbers. And one of the reasons for that is habitat loss again. So I think in 97%, we've lost 97% of our wildflower meadows since the 1940s, which is enormous. And of course, as we know, wildflowers and plants are really, really important for butterflies. And so obviously that's where we can see the correlation between the decline in butterflies. But it makes us think about what can we do in our gardens? What might we already be doing? And what do we plan to do in the future to help them as well and help those species? So as I mentioned, we've got our garlic mustard that smells neither garlicky nor mustardy, that's helping the green-veined white streak butterfly or something of that ilk. We've got the ivy, which is helping the caterpillar for the holly blue. But I've also got, now you might not be able to see it too well, but there is a big patch of nettles sort of at the back there behind this. You can't really see it too well there, but yeah, so it is a big patch of nettles. And often we think stinging nettles aren't really that nice. And that's what I thought, until I discovered that actually it's also great caterpillar habitat for the red admirals, for the peacocks, a lot of those common garden species, including the small tortoiseshell butterfly. So if you do have a patch of nettles, it'd be great to keep it there, and maybe like sort of plant around it, but know that it is doing something really positive for butterflies in the long term. And then one other thing I would mention is that I don't personally have any in this garden, but we have this huge thistles over in the next garden, ginormous thistles, very spiky, not pleasant to sit on, but they are actually really great for the painted lady butterfly, or the painted lady caterpillar. It's a sort of a feeding ground for the painted lady, which happens to be my personal favourite butterfly, just because I like the name. So there you go. So there's a few things about butterflies. There's a few things about what might be lurking in your garden that you didn't realise you might have. So I would definitely urge you to have a look if you're wanting to sort of do some things for butterflies and indeed for caterpillars in your garden. One of the first places to start, if you're like me, is to sort of think about what you've already got, so that you don't unwittingly take things down, because they might be providing really useful habitat for butterflies at the caterpillar stage. And if you want to learn more about how getting onto sort of the flower plants for pollinators and the flowers, my co-worker James will be doing the stream next Wednesday, and he can talk to you about what sort of plants you might want to be looking for and what sort of flowers to support butterflies in the adult stage. And then one other point I wanted to sort of leave us with before I log out. It's just that, as I mentioned, the butterflies, they've got many different stages in their lives, but they also have an overwintering stage. And there's things that you can do to help butterflies at the overwintering stage as well. So obviously some butterfly species are sort of migrants, and they come to and fro from Europe and other parts of the world. But we do have, I think it's 57 UK species that are residents that stay here. And some of them may be overwintering in a sort of in a caterpillar form or chrysalis form, but some will be overwintering as adult butterflies. And so some of the things that you might not think will be useful for them, but actually are, they might look to overwinter come autumn time in sort of garages and outbuildings and sheds, but also in log piles as well. If you've got a good log pile that you can leave undisturbed, that can also be a great sort of sheltering spot for any butterflies wanting to overwinter. But we're hoping that those overwintering ones will start to wake up now and come out and see us, and we'll be able to see them as it is now the spring. So I think that's probably everything from me. Thanks so much for tuning in. Great to see you. Like I say, if you've got any comments about my garden, or in fact any recommendations, then please do let me know. Likewise, if you've spotted any species that I haven't, please do so as well. Fab. Okay. All right. Well, good luck with your gardening this spring. And do keep in touch with us on Facebook and on Twitter. Okay, great. That's me signing out. Goodbye.